Okay, so
Sure.
hi Prakarsh. Uh, Welcome at the L5 session. Can you please give us a brief about yourself?
Okay, sure. So my name is Prakarsh, and I am developer advocate for Spheron. I love to code. I like technology. I have been in blockchain technology since 2017, where I wrote a paper on blockchain transaction system, which is like DeFi right now. And part-time I do stand-up comedy as well. So if you haven't seen
Oh,
me by stand-up comedy, I think so this
uh,
is the career path is right for me. So yeah,
great. Can you please share your some like video links here in the chat
yeah,
section? Uh,
sure, absolutely.
okay, great. I'm sharing some links about Spyron here in the chat box so that community will understand much more about Spyron. Just a second.
Sure. And let's invite people to our Discord, because
Yes.
we are doing we are giving away NFTs. Oh yeah, and
Okay.
one second. We share our form. If you want the NFTs here, I think here is the form for it.
Okay,
Uh,
free to share that also.
oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, this is what I do. And welcome to Explain Me Like I'm Five session.
Yeah, we are very excited to learn like how to use Spyron. Yes, should we start the session?
Sure. This
Okay.
is what we are here for.
Yeah. So let's begin.
Okay. So you would be thinking like, explain me like I'm five session. They would be explaining their technology to us in a way a 5-year-old would understand.
Yep.
But no, we are not here for that today. I won't advocate my technology until you know what my technology does. Okay. So I'll explain you the complete tech because I want you to understand what we do and what we are trying to do, and how decentralization works from the very basics. I could just jump on my page right now and I can show you deployment, and that would be very easy to do it. And it takes so less time that this whole event is too big for it, honestly, because we have engineered it. So you might be thinking, okay, so what this technology is about. So let me explain you what this technology does and what is basically front end, because Peron actually helps you to deploy your front end in a decentralized way. If I wanted to say it in one word, okay. But for that, let's dig deeper and let's understand what front end is and why front ends are really deployed and how you are accessing front end in your day-to-day life. And you won't even seek that it's a step you do it, because it is so seamless. And we're helping that it to become more decentralized, more seamless, and yet cost effective. So this is what we are trying to do. And let's start the session. And I would go out and share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Amazing. So mostly my settings are over here and my system is over here. So I would be I would be not looking at eye to it. But yes, I hope you understand it. So basically you have to understand the part where there is large number of cables in the world, and there are not large yeah. So there are large number of cables in the world which are being set out there, and all. So you take the internet right now. Right now we are talking to each other through the internet itself. So actually, when you go out and when you see that there are large set of internet cables in the world, and makes you connected through, which makes you connected on a system, right?
Right.
So if you just go out and Google that, how does the structure of cable looks like? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's try it out on this. Internet cable under the ocean. Yes. Okay. So this is something it looks like. these are the cable which are actually there. So when we really say that there is something in the cloud, there is nothing in the cloud. This is how the internet all over the world looks like. And this is how it really shows. So these are different. This is how, and what your ISP is trying to do, what your ISP is trying to do, they gives you the access to the internet. So you take this as the internet backbone. Okay. I'm starting, this is your internet backbone, and internet backbone is connected by your ISP. Your ISP could be anything, Airtel, Vodafone, or anything you have chosen for, right? It gives you the access to connect to the internet. So some toys, and I'm going to show you that. So this complete thing is the backbone of the internet, right? And your ISP is giving the access to get on this backbone. Your ISP is basically becoming a bridge with you and the backbone so that you can jump on the internet bandwagon, right? So it gives you the possibility to jump on that bandwagon. I hope you are able to see it, right? So your ISP is giving you the idea where you can jump on the bandwagon by the processes they are giving out. So if you know that there was a time that there used to be phone books, there used to be large phone books of multiple people with multiple data inside, like tons of data inside it, right? Similarly, when you would go out and you would see there is something called DNS. Okay, there is something called DNS, which acts as an address, and it has a unique IP, and it has a unique representation on the internet itself. So today, if I have a personality, or today if I have a home, it is situated in some part of some state, right? So if you see that, like for example, it has an address to itself, right? So similarly, whenever you are on the internet, it has an address to itself. Now, all these structures brought together were bought by the servers. Okay, there were servers; those were large set of computers which were bought together and which were set together, which would hold large information of data, and we would get the access to these servers by a ISP and denoted by a DNS. Okay, did you understand what I'm trying to say? Did you understand? Like for example, even Google. So Google resides on a server based in some XYZ continent, okay, some XYZ continent, some XYZ place, and it has an address on the internet too. So everybody has an address on the internet, which is basically which is basically made able by the ISP to get over the to make you to be a bridge between those things and come and access the services that website is providing. I hope you understand what this is. Now, this is how the internet is working. Now we have to understand how a browser works. Okay. So browser is something which is very important right now. And we would go out to a time which really showed. So that I don't know how many like that old, but there was something called Netscape. Netscape started very early, and it was one of the most famous browsers in the world. And Netscape went to, after Netscape, we had multiple browsers coming up in the industry. It was Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, and multiple, I don't know who uses Internet Explorer now, and it has been discontinued. So Mozilla Firefox, okay. So all these browsers had a way that they used to access a website. So to access a website, you need to see that what a website actually consists of. So let me show you what an actual website consists of. Okay. So there is HTML. There is one thing on the website called HTML. And HTML is basically a structure of the website, how the structure of the website is going to look like. Okay. And on top of it, there is CSS, which adds styling to it. And then we have JavaScript, which has behavior to it. Okay. So let's just see with this example. Okay. So the behavior of this car would be to move, right? But if I add something on top of it, basically I have added what I have added, HTML to this, right? So I've added HTML to this, which makes it a structure. Now I want to make it a green car. To make it a green car, I've added CSS, and its behavior is to move. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to relay over here. How a website is working and how a browser makes you access that website. We are just soon gonna reach to Spheron if we ride on this car, but I hope you understood that this is the structure. The red part is the structure of the website, where the green part is the styling of the website, and the website moving is the behavior. The star moving is the behavior of the website. So we have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, this is what general websites and front end is. And yeah, so JavaScript and Java are completely different things. So don't ever mix them up, and don't ever mix them up by introducing into this segment. So you have to understand it very similarly, like Java and JavaScript, we'll come to that later, but those are different things. So HTML was what? HTML was structure. Okay, so I am telling you what actually front end really is is transpired of, and how Spheron is helping you to host that front end. Spheron is basically helping. So Spheron would come to play when you know what front end is. And I think there is a question, and if you guys use Twitter, tag me at blockchain Balak, and you can give me the best front end frameworks you know. Give me the best front end frameworks you know, or anything you have worked upon, and we can help you host it on Spheron, or we can actually have you in NFTs. So yeah, you can do that as a side thing. So this is structure, this is styling, behavior. Okay. All this stuff a front end of a website. Okay. This is what a front end of a website looks like. This is what front end. Okay. So now I would come to the distinction of front end and back end. And where does Spheron plays an important role? So front end and back ends are two parts of a website, of a web app, or any application you see in the world right now. So for us to understand what front end, what is the difference between, oh wow, there is so much. Yeah. What is the difference between front end and back end is, okay. So let's take this as back end of a simple app, or I don't know, like if you know about Zoom, or if you know about Instagram. Okay, so this is basically back end of the Instagram, and this is front end of the Instagram. With the back end of the Instagram, there are multiple millions of photos getting stored, and millions of videos getting stored, and there are millions of things getting stored at a scale that it's very huge, right? On the front end, where you see that there are only specific things which you have followed, or there is only specific things you have seen, and it's in a stationary, it's in a variable form. So someone you follow and someone you want to see on your feed is basically, you can see them on the front end, and there of the app where it looks like that you are not able to see every data going into the backend, though you have the option and you have the visuality of looking at just an app where there are multiple images and where there are multiple icons and there are multiple videos stored through. So this is what a front end of an app looks like, but there is a large set of calculation which is happening in the backend, right? So this backend is something which is behind the scenes, right? And this is which you interact with on every day. Okay, so I hope you understood what is the difference between front end and back end, right? I don't want to say versus because let's say DX. So I'll tell you what DX is. DX is the difference. Okay. So what difference is there actually there? Like these two things are not supremely comparable, but you understand what the difference is. Now, coming to the point of how Spheron comes into the play. So Spheron actually helps you to host your front end. Okay. So what is Spheron? It helps you to host your front end where your backend would be based out of anywhere. Like I'll show you the complete demo of it. Don't worry about that. Where the backend could be from Tel Aviv, it could be even on AWS, it could be even on anywhere in the world. And we are helping you deploy that front end to, to a DNS. Like you have a DNS in which you can basically access through anywhere in the world, which is provided you to by an ISP. See, it's that simple. The viability of this technology and the sheer power of this coming through is basically helping you to make your front end decentralized in just few minutes. The ISP is giving you the access to reach, and then you have a DNS which is there is a front end which is deployed on Spheron, right? And what your front end looks like is something like this, right? And what your backend looks like is something like this. Okay. So we would try this out and we would try this complete execution of things. And just let me show you how Spheron looks like. So I'm going to stop this share for a minute. And let me show you the beauty of this platform. Our platform is, I would highly recommend you that you open this, but to access this, we are doing a gated access to this. So I would not recommend you to do it right now. And can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what our website looks like. So now you're equipped with every knowledge you know what you need to do. I think let's have you seen Dora the Explorer? Dora the Explorer. So Dora the Explorer used to go to places and she used to ask you questions which were a bit silly in terms of looking at the landscape. But over here, it would be so easy to understand. Okay, so guys, we are at Spheron Network website. Now what should we do? Now we need to host our front end. The next step we would do is click on deploy now. So deploy now is actually NFT gated. So for that, I would be sending you out, or wait a second, let me send you guys the link right now. Okay, this is what the dashboard of Spheron looks like. Okay, and the dashboard shows the repositories you have or the projects you have already hosted on. So there is one project I have already hosted on, which was forked to, which was already forked, and you can see that this is how the IFPS deployment looks like, and this is how the different domains of it looks like. So as I told you that there are different domain name system and there are different DNS that were made to it. And as you see that the address we want to access over here is rektero.com, right? That domain where I could access any backend or something which was hosted on GitHub. So I think it's time to call back on the action of, oh, it's down. Okay, let me just check. Yeah, we would do a fresh deployment right now so we could understand how easily you could do it. Okay, I would go on and I would create a new project, and in this new project I would do it from my GitHub. So whenever you go to GitHub, you would see that it would ask you to choose a repository. So when it asks you to choose a repository, so I have one repository where I could really go out and I can fork different repositories to it as well. So this is if I go to, so I've already opened up a React.js quiz repository, like which is already there, which I could just fork. This is a where I could fork this. So forking this means in Git that you get the access to this. Okay, fork the repository. Now, forking a repository means now we can create a new project. We can pick the GitHub repository we want to do. And as you can see, that you can see this repository where I could easily pick and host it. Now, this possibility has come to me. Now I can choose which protocol I would choose it from to deploy my React project on. So I would really go with Filecoin because the charges are like really, really simple. And I would go out and give I could actually, there are many possibilities in the Spheron access itself, and I can choose different node engines I want to do on. Let me explain you what every function is doing right now. Okay, so I would go back to step number 1, where I'm creating a new project, where I choose my repository backend hosted somewhere, which I have kept on GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket. So your backend is already there on those terms, and you have a JavaScript framework or some framework which is already there on your backend. And I click on GitHub. I understand now it links to my GitHub and it links to what apps I have created so far. Now, over here, as you can see that there are 2 repositories here. So there is one called AR-Link and there is one called React projects. If I click on one of the projects I want to deploy on, I get the option to select the protocol to deploy. Okay, so at what protocol I would be deploying my app on. So it gives you multiple options, like it gives URB, Skynet, Filecoin, and Pinata. So over here, to save on the fees, I would say I highly recommend that go with Filecoin. And as you can see that this is a Vue app. Like the first app was a Vue app, and you get the option to choose which branch you're going to deploy on. Okay, so you can actually choose the root directory itself. Then Spheron has the possibility of actually scanning up your repository and analyzing your repository and choosing what the framework your backend is built upon. You give command and you select the engine you want to work on, and if there are any other variables accustomed to it, you can add that as well. And it really shows you the option where you want to publish this directory to, and then click on deploy. As you can see that the deployment has started. You could read a magazine, or you could pass your time till then, or you could hear some jokes till then. And whenever it's done, you're going to see that your deployment has been done. So it's that easy. See, I told you, if I just told you about Spheron, or if I just told you about the possibility of what Spheron does, it would just take me a few minutes to understand. Now we have understood the ideation of how things are working, what front end is, and how front end is hosted, and where Spheron is coming to play, right? Spheron is helping you to host your front end in a decentralized way, directly from your repositories. I hope we are accustomed with words like Git, GitHub, and oh, it's a warning. So GitHub, and multiple things out there, right? And whenever you see that there are different repositories in your segment, there are backends in your segment, you can easily host them using Spheron. And I'll show you the beautiful part of it. So we have multi-on-chain payment system. So you can actually something which we are working on, and we are very close to. And that multi-on-chain system would actually enable you to start a subscription of the payment from your wallet address, and it would ask you so you can use only one wallet address, and there are multiple things called, we have the possibility of adding CI/CD pipelines as well. So that gives you a possibility to understand at what level the changes made deployment, and you can easily, it's very transparent for teams to see, and it's very transparent for teams to understand how a deployment is working right now. Okay, so it's done. And this is how easy deploying on Spheron is, right? So if you think about prompts, if you think about prompts getting through, we are kind of working on the prompts right now. And there you go. You just deployed a front end with a working backend on Spheron. So yeah, it's that easy. I hope a 5-year-old would be able to click few buttons out there and would be able to do it. Now, there are multiple possibilities and there are multiple things on it where you can understand we have worked upon to streamline the payments, to streamline different kind of domains to it, to add subdomains to it, and you can go on. And I would highly recommend that you should try it on your own, and you should understand how an organization works, like how different billing and adding team members is just a click away. So as you can see that every time you get a starter program, you get you get in your free program, you get some effective remaining days, you get you get a set of bandwidth to it where you can deploy multiple front ends or even like work on similar one. And as you can see that it is basically added to my wallet, and I can easily see the invoices or anything which I have done so far, the kind of transaction I do to host my front end. So it's that easy. And I can add and remove people in my organization with just a click. Yeah. So all you need to do is just come to Spheron, and Spheron is not something which needs to be explained like to a 5-year-old. A 5-year-old could just come up on Spheron and easily deploy your front end. I hope you understand how internet works. I hope you understand how front end works. I hope you understand where Spheron has come to play. Yes. I think I finished before time, and thanks to the seamless technology we have built.
Okay, we can wrap this session. Thank you so much, Prakarsh, for this session, and it's a truly explained like campfire session. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. Thank you so much, the Dapp List team, Siddharth and Nepe. Glad to be here. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Prakarsh. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.